Hey guys, welcome back to the first video. So in this video, I decided that the first thing that I wanted to do with College Chef was to do a meal, pasta meal. There's a couple reasons for this. And so one of the main reasons, let me get the camera set up here, 1 second. One of the reasons I thought this could be a really good option or meal is that it's very affordable. And it also offers a lot of good variety. So when I'm talking about affordable, that I'll give you guys some examples of what I bought and paid, but some of these boxes of pasta were only $1 each. It was a 3 for $3 at CVS at the time. So tremendous value. You can get multiple days worth of food on a very small budget. But when I talk about the variety, is you'll see, because we're going to do 3 different kinds today, is there's different kinds of pasta. You can get different shapes, different kind of tastes. You can get some where you're going to do different cheeses. You can do it with sauce with meat. You can do it without meat. There's different kinds of sauces. You can get a garlic, a marinara sauce. So with one kind of real food item, you can have this tremendous amount of variety and options, which is just fantastic for when you're wanting to, have a cheat meal, but also something that's easy to prepare, but can go for, have it throughout the week. So you're not going to have it a few times and then be sick of it. So you can really mix it up, which I think is really going to help long term as far as value and also having a good meal. So let me go ahead and get the ingredients, and we'll jump in there and we'll start the video from there. So 1 second, we'll do a transition, and hope you guys enjoy, and hope this helped you guys get some good tips as what are some good first options. Okay guys, so welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. One thing I wanted to do first was I wanted to give you guys just a little bit of a tour of the kitchen. So turn this around. So this is the kitchen that I'm going to be working in today for this video. And so I wanted to give you guys kind of a layout of the space. It is a pretty big kitchen, so that does make it more pretty convenient when doing this kind of cooking, when you have to spread out and get different things prepared. So that's one thing I wanted to point out to you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So let's get started. So let me go and get the first bit of ingredients and start showing you guys that. So get set up here. So as far as where you guys get your ingredients, it's not going to be near as important. It's just important that you kind of look around in your local area for where the best deals are. Every community has kind of their larger local chains and kind of specialty stores that are going to have the better prices for that area. So I would highly suggest that you become familiar with what's available in your town and where to look for. As far as where this particular pastas came from, this was from my local CVS, and so we're going to be doing 3 different kinds today. Let's see. Okay. So these are the 3 different kinds of pastas that I'm going to be doing. So I want to give you guys an idea. They're all the same brand, so you get an idea of the brand. So this is going to be the first type that we're going to be doing. I'll let you guys get some information on it. I'm not sure that's going to appear backwards in the video, but gives you guys kind of an idea. So for this particular one, there's 8 servings per container. So this could probably last you more than one meal if you do something else with it, like a chicken, a salad. You'd probably be able to get a few different meals out of this. So the serving size is 2 ounces, and that is 200 calories per serving, and we have 8 servings. So we have 1,600 calories for the box. The total fat is 1 gram. It's 1% of the value. Cholesterol is 0, sodium is 0. Total carbohydrates is 42 grams, 15%, and protein is 7 grams. And the ingredients is very, very simple. It's just wheat and wheat flour. So that is going to be the first type and brand. The second is going to be the same brand, different type of pasta. And so kind of do like a comparison here so you guys can get an idea. See how this one's more like a corkscrew kind of spiral, and this one's more of a solid pasta. So you know, different people I like this kind personally. I think, you know, when you have a good sauce, a lot of the times the sauce will go inside the pasta, and so you get a lot of flavor with that, and it's also easier kind of with your fork if you're eating with chicken or something else. But this is a great option if you're kind of just doing it by itself and just want a good tasting pasta that the sauce, you know, can go basically all around the pasta, so you get a lot of good flavor. But this is going to be the second kind that I'm going to be doing. So again, I'll give you an idea on some of the stats. And it's not surprising that the stats are almost identical. You know, they're both very similar quantities and items. So this is also 8 servings, 2 ounces serving size, and 200 calories. So once again, this box is 1,600 calories, 1 gram of fat, 42 grams of carbohydrates. So it's identical. And then the third kind, once again, same brand, but a different kind. So this is the smallest pasta of them all. This is probably my least favorite. I just find it very difficult to eat this with a fork. It's just difficult to get a good amount of pasta on your fork. So this to me is much more with a spoon and just a little bit of sauce. That would be the kind of meal I would look to do with this one. But we're at almost all identical stats. So you guys have a good idea. 200 calories a serving, 8 servings, 1,600 calories. And this one is called the Elbows pasta. And I cannot pronounce that name brand, so I'm not going to even try. So the next thing you're going to need is, like I said, there's a variety of different sauce choices you can have. You can have a garlic, you can have an Alfredo. For this particular one, I'm going with a kind of a tomato mozzarella taste. It's technically a roasted garlic, but it's a red sauce, so, and it's organic pasta sauce. So this is what would be considered a private label brand or store brand. It's not from any major brand. This is from Albertsons, and so this is their in-house brand. I've never had it before. It was cheaper because it, you know, is their in-house private label brand. That's why I got it. So keep in mind, that's a good option. Is if you're looking at different food items, look for the one that is the in-house option and is the private label. You're usually going to get a better deal, and a lot of these are made in the same factories with almost same ingredients as the major brands. It's just how they're being marketed. So that's that. This is a 5 servings per container, so it's a pretty good size container. Each serving is half a cup, so it's a pretty generous amount of sauce for 60 calories. And it's got pretty high sodium, I would say 450 milligrams, 20% daily value, but carbohydrates is 10. And ingredients is there's organic diced tomatoes and juice water, organic tomato paste, organic extra virgin olive oil, organic roasted garlic, sea salt, dehydrated onions, distilled vinegar, and organic garlic powder. So the final item, and this is a personal preference, but I love Parmesan cheese. I love it on a lot of different foods, and especially pasta. I get the Kraft brand, the 100% grated Parmesan cheese. It is just adds a lot of flavor in my opinion, and I don't think any pasta meal is complete without it. So that is what I suggest. So let's go ahead and start getting into the details of this. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to do, start with the penne. So as I'm looking at the instructions, they're pretty identical, but we're going to go through each one so you guys can see how they turn out differently. So we need to bring 4 to 6 quarts of water to a boil. We need to add salt to taste and add pasta to the boiling water. So first step is we need to get a pot of water going, and we need to get that to a boil. So let's start with that. So I'm going to go through, and what I may do is, if you're doing multiple dishes, just kind of an idea for some of you guys is, since we're doing multiple pasta dishes, I'm probably going to have the kettle going kind of on standby. So as I get closer to wanting to start the second one, I'm probably going to turn the kettle on. So it just gives some of the water a jump start, saves us a little bit of time, but it's not necessary. You can go through and manually heat up the water. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that kettle. And so while that's filling, let's go ahead and pick our pot. So we're going to want a good sized pot because I am going to be cooking all of the pasta. So I think one like this should be good. This is a 4-quart. How many quarts do we need? So it's 4 to 6 quarts. So I think we're going to be good at this pot. We're going to be right at kind of the minimum. But if I get into anything bigger, let's see what I have here. I have a 4.5 quart. Let's go with the 4.5 quart. I'll make it easier. That way we have a little extra room. And let me go ahead and finish this boiling water. Getting the kettle going. Okay, so the kettle will now be there on standby when we need that. And let's see. So, let me get this camera set. Bear with me, guys, on these camera angles. I do apologize. Okay, so have our pot, 4.5 quarts. I'm going to go ahead and fill this. I'll be right back, and I'm going to get it going to boil. So one thing I do keep in mind is the size of your burner. On this one I do have 5. So I'm going to probably, based on the size that this pot is, I'm probably going to go with the largest burner. It's just going to get the most heat to the pot so we can get there quicker. But you don't want really a burner that's bigger than your pot. A lot of the heat's going to be going off the side, so you want to make sure that it's all of the heat is going to the pot. So I've got the pot filled, and I'm going to go ahead and start this. Okay. And you can always look for a lid. The lid can help to really, speed up this process. So got that going. Lid can be a tremendous option just because a lot of the heat can't escape to the top. So I'm going to look and see if any of these fit. One's too big. It can also keep the water from flowing off the side. So I do happen to have a lid. I'm going to go ahead and use that. And while that's going, I'm going to get a couple other things ready. So one thing you're going to want if you're dealing with a lid, you're going to need a mitt. When you're taking that lid off, you don't want any hot steam to burn your hand. So I'm going to need that. Also, we're going to be dealing with pasta when we're done, so we're going to want to have a strainer. We're going to need to strain out the water, when we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and have that waiting in the sink. And we're also going to need a bowl where we're going to be able to put the pasta when we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple large bowls, have those ready. Okay, so I got 3 large bowls. These should be enough to fit the pasta. For today's example, obviously I'm going to be cooking all the pasta, which I would also suggest you do, but you may have some kind of storage container that can be put into your fridge after, something to store it if you're not going to be cooking all of it at one time. So I'm going to go ahead and check on this water, see how we're doing. And it's not quite at a boil yet, so we're going to wait a little longer. And one thing I do suggest is if you can have some kind of music or something going, typically makes the process a lot more fun. Obviously today I'm going to be talking, so I'm not going to want the distraction there, but I do highly suggest having some music going, so it makes the process fun, because it's a lot of waiting. Once you're waiting for it to boil, you're kind of just sitting there. And also don't forget to have a drink out for yourself, water, something, because it's going to get hot in the kitchen as you're cooking. You're going to be moving around a lot, so you're going to want to stay hydrated. So I'm going to grab some water myself. Okay, got my water. And I'm going to start looking ahead on the directions, because you want to stay ahead of it. So what it's saying is once we bring it to that boil, we're going to need to boil it for 11 minutes. Okay? And they want us to be stirring occasionally. So I'm going to be using this. These holes allow for the water to pass through, so I'm not splashing. But it allows for a nice consistent spin so the pastas don't get stuck together or start to burn in any way. So we also need salt. Remember, they want some salt to be added while we're cooking. Got my salt shaker, put a little salt in. This is exactly why I was talking about the having the kettle, especially if you're cooking a larger meal like this, where you're doing 3 different kinds of pastas. You may be having people coming over. You're going to need to get that water to a boil quicker, because when you dump out this pasta, you're going to need a whole new bowl of water. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to, as we're nearing the end of the 11 minutes, we're going to want to at least start some of the water to a boil. We'll still have to, it probably won't be enough to fill the bowl, but a good portion of the water will already be at a good temperature, so we'll speed up that boiling process much quicker. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying the video so far, go ahead and give us that like. Go ahead and leave some comments in the description. Let us know what you think so far. This style of video, it's going to really help us going forward to get some user feedback on what type of things you're enjoying, if this type of step-by-step instructions is what's helping you, if you'd like more ingredients lists, things like that. So that's going to help us in the future. And just confirming, so we are going to need 11 minutes. Okay. So I'll probably get my phone here in a minute to use that as a timer. Let me go and get one of the pastas out, so see you guys. That's what we're dealing with. So let me go and get my phone as a timer, so we'll have that when we need it. Okay. So on my phone here is a timer. Let me check again on how this boil's doing. Okay. We're starting to get there. We're still not quite boiled, but we're getting there. I'll go ahead and give you guys a little peek. So it's still in the process of boiling. We're just going to wait on that, and once that's boiling, going to be able to go ahead and get this pasta in there cooking. Now, one strategy, I'll see how long it ends up taking, but I may show you guys the second strategy towards the end, which is this is a 5 burner. There's no reason you couldn't have more than one pot going and at least boiling water. So if it starts at the end, to start to want to show you guys how you could have more than one going at once, and it's pretty simple. I will probably do that. I'm going to go and get that other bowl out just so we have that option, that 4-quart, and I'm going to set it aside. But if we end up being able to do that, that would be fantastic, I think, because it'll show you that there's not much to kind of having 2 going and we're just stirring back and forth. So I'm going to get you guys this other camera angle. That might make it interesting to see what I'm working with here. So let's see, let me know if you guys can see that. Is that good? Okay, you guys get an idea. So we basically would have 2 pots going, and that would help to speed up the process some. So let me go ahead and check on this boil, and let's see where we're at. Okay, yeah, it's getting there. It's really starting to bubble. We're not at the point where it's an excessive amount of bubbles, but it is doing very well. And let us know what kind of meals you guys have enjoyed cooking while in college and things like that. So go ahead and leave some comments. Kind of gives us an idea of some things that worked for you guys, and those might be other possibilities for us to make a video on. So I'd really appreciate that if we can get some ideas from you guys. And also, like I said, if you guys enjoyed the video, we always appreciate a like. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be great. It really kind of helps validate that there is a community out there looking for cooking videos and cooking channels, and it would help with the community. The more people there are, the more kind of recipe ideas we can get and feedback, and I think it would really help everyone as a whole. So if that's something you guys are interested in and you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and feel free to give us a subscribe and put on your notifications bell. We'd really appreciate seeing you guys in future videos as well. So I think we might be getting to the point where we can think about putting this pasta in. It's not a huge deal that it's at a complete boil. It won't hurt it too bad to be in there for a little bit of time, but it is something we do want to wait to get as close to the boil as we can. So I think probably just a little bit more time and we'll be good to go. And if you guys want, one option you can have is, when you're putting the lid on, you can leave a little bit of room just so it kind of lets the steam out. Kind of gives you guys an idea of how much it's boiling. And also sometimes if the lid's completely on, it will kind of overflow and can make a big mess. So I'm feeling pretty good about going and putting the pasta in now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to set my lid off to the side. And you don't want to just dump it in, you know. There's a lot of pasta that can go flying in there, so we don't want to splash too much. So we kind of will do a gradual kind of pouring, kind of let it go in without it too much splashing. You can always see this water is turning completely murky. It's the dust and that coming off of the residue off the noodles. So I'm going to get this in there. Okay, and that is the entire box. So don't throw away your box yet. I always like to keep it. One, if you enjoyed the meal, you want to know what you had. You can sometimes forget. Two, there's a few more steps. We don't want to lose those yet. So we are now at the point where we're going to need to do an 11-minute boil. So let's put on a timer for 11 minutes. I'm going to do a stopwatch. I'll keep track of it that way. So, see, I have a stopwatch going. I'm going to keep track of that as we're going, trying to get as close to 11 minutes as we can. Sometimes with a higher flame, it can cook quicker. That's just a guideline. It's like we're going to be using to check up on it. But I am going to go ahead and reapply this lid so it can start cooking with the maximum amount of heat. So. Okay, so that's going, and we're going to give that a few minutes, and we'll see where we're at in a few minutes. So let me go ahead and move you guys back. Okay, so I'll be checking on that, and we're going to be stirring that as we go. And one option you can have, mine happens to have a vent fan. I'm probably going to turn that on for a few minutes to help take out the heat. So if it gets a little loud, that's what's going on. On this particular exhaust unit, I have a fan that will help take out that heat. And I'll give you guys an idea what that looks like. Here, let me show you. So this is what I have going on. I have my vent fan is on, and that actually comes through up here. There's a ventilation. So then just put on my vent fan. That is what is powering that. So time's kind of flying pretty quick there. We're already at 2 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and give it its first check to see if it needs to be stirred. Putting the glove on my left hand this time. I'm a right-handed. I want to be able to have to stir. Okay. So it was already starting to boil over some. So it looks like it's going to need a constant stir. Otherwise this heat, just with the pasta, it's going to keep foaming up and come over the top. So I am going to continue to constantly stir this for right now. Give you guys an idea of what our pasta is looking like. Yeah, if I leave this for kind of any amount of time, it really starts to boil. It has to constantly be being stirred so it will not overflow. I had filled the water pretty high, but that's really going to be the case with any kind of pot you're using. And we're at about 3.5 minutes in, so We're a little bit about quarter of the way in on how much time it needs to cook. Still not as soft as we'd like it, so it's going to need a little bit more time. Now, the water is covering the pasta pretty good, so we could have probably gone with a little less water. But part of the reason for that is you want the pasta to have a good amount of water to kind of, you know, it's actually turning itself in there, it's cooking, so it really helps to cook it quicker with that much water. Let me go ahead and move your guys' angles so you guys can get an idea a little closer up here. So, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's kind of where it's at. Let's see. Bring you guys over a stand. It's still pretty hard. It's not even bending with touch my hand. So we're about coming up on 6 minutes. We're getting about halfway in, so I'm probably going to be starting the kettle here pretty soon. It will take a few minutes to heat that much water. And I'm probably going to do that now, so I'm turning on the kettle. And one thing with the kettle is, you know, once the water gets to a certain heat, it doesn't drop that rapidly. So even if it's heated and we're not ready, we can always just turn it back on closer and it'll take less time to get fully heated. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that vent fan back on just for a minute, help take away some of the steam and heat. A little bit more salt. So still stirring, it's still just cooking as before. Let me see if I can actually bring you guys over here, so give you guys an idea. Let's see. It's still in that constant boil, and we're just stirring to keep it from overflowing. And we're at 8.5 minutes. looking really good right now. So as we go longer, it starts to boil more. It's just the nature of it's getting hotter. And the kettle is going for the next batch. But one thing I forgot is I'm actually going to need 2 sets of mitts, because that's going to be pretty... That's going to be pretty heavy. I'm going to need to hold both sides of the bowl. So I'm going to have 2 sets of mitts. But I have this little heat, so I'll have somewhere to set my bowl over here. Okay. So we're about 10.5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get this camera set up over here so that you guys will be able to see me working right here in this bowl. So we're at 11.5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and bring it out. I wanted to give it a little extra time to get nice and soft. A few pieces, little stragglers. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, that is a lot of pasta. That might be more than even what our bowl is meant for. So I like to shake it up. I like to get all of the steam and heat out of any excess water. I don't like the water running through my sauce. And so to give you guys an idea, this would be the kind of container I would put it in if I was putting it in the fridge. This is plastic, so I wouldn't put it in until it had time to dry off, cool down, but this is the kind of container I would be storing it in for later meals. Okay, I'm just letting that dry off a little bit. And as you can see, our kettle is starting to end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put about half the amount of water in the bowl to start it again, because I know I'm going to be putting in about another half in the kettle water. So I want this next one already to get started. Since we are doing 3 different kinds of pasta meals today, that is what we need to do, is start on the second one. Okay. So I've got some water in there, maybe a little too much. Dump that out. I'm gonna get this to start boiling again. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add some of that boiling water. Okay. So now I've got this pasta, which is pretty much dried out. And I'm going to go ahead and get one of our bowls. This bowl. Let's see how much fits in a bowl. So, you know, this is a good bowl's worth. This is a good sized bowl, a full meal. And we still have half. So this could easily be 2 full meals worth. And even those bowls are pretty big. So I just gave it a little test and it was very good. So I'm going to continue to let this dry because cool down. I don't want to put it in there yet into that bowl. So I'm going to set this off to the side and I'm going to go ahead and get another strainer ready. Just in case that one doesn't finish in time. So, have this water boiling, and now I'm going to apply some sauce to this one. It's a very good sauce. So I'm going to apply some. I'm going to want a napkin or something to clean this. Okay. Now, all the sauce is kind of just sitting on the top. So what I do, I do this in my sink, so if it does make some mess, I'm not as worried about it. But kind of just use your spoon, stir it around, and the sauce will start to get on all of the noodles. And there's that. And then I'm going to apply some Parmesan. And you have a really nice, good bowl of pasta. So right now we're in the process of working on our second one. We're going to go ahead and wait for that one to finish. And I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. And I'll be right back. So I'm going to go ahead and get this water boiling, and we're going to see what happens. So if we run out of time, we may only get to do 2 today. I don't want the video to be too excessive for you guys, so I know it's a lot to watch. So if we have to, I may break this up into a 2-part. or I may just, end up only doing 1 or 2 pastas because it's the same instructions for all of it. So you guys are going to see once you've done 1, you can do 2. So let me see how long this water takes, and let's go ahead and get the second one going. I'm going to do the elbow. So this one's going to be next. So let me go ahead and try this pasta I just cooked, and let's see how it turned out. That's very good. Very good. Okay, I don't want to eat too much of that because we have 2 more pastas to make. So I think it's going to be at the point of being cool enough that I'm going to start to store the other pasta. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm storing that. So. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get that other one going, and I'll be right back, and we'll start on the elbow. Hey guys, part 2. So we're picking up right where we left off. So this time I'm doing the second type, which is the elbows pasta. So very similar process than before. We're going to have it open. Always check your best by use dates, guys. I just bought this, but this stuff's good till 2021. We always like to check if you haven't bought it recently and you're bringing something out. So see, this is a much smaller pasta than the other one. Just these little guys. So I'm already working on boiling the water over here. So we're going to continue with that. And I'm going to go ahead and start getting some more water ready for the third pasta, the rotini. So that'll be ready for us when we need it. And let's go ahead and check in on this boiling water, see where we're at. Okay. So we're still a little ways out from coming to a boil. Once again, we're going to need to be stirring the entire time. Okay. So we're working on that coming to a boil. It was making some noise, that's why I was checking, guys. It kind of had this kind of odd sound, but I think it's because we've already used it, so it's hot with the cold water in it. I think that's a good idea what's going on. And it is starting to boil. When it boils, it tends to almost look like nothing's happening. But once it hits that kind of core temperature, it really starts to go pretty quick. So we're really starting to get some good bubbles here. And once I have a little bit more consistency of it bubbling, I'm going to go ahead and put in the pasta. So once again, when you're putting it in, you want to kind of do it in a shaking motion. You don't want it all to go in at once. Especially this kind of pasta, it's so small. So this is going to be a lot of pasta we're done. So this kind of pasta is. I think we're good. I think we can get it started. It's not at a full boil, but that's okay. It's boiling. We'll get in there a little early and start our cooking time. So. Okay. So once again, guys, empty box. But what do? We keep the box off to the side for those instructions, and also if we like it, we want to know what we cook. So now I won't have to stir it just quite yet. This kind of pasta, yeah, this a lot of you guys will recognize. This is the kind of the pasta you would use primarily for mac and cheese. That's about all I've seen this pasta really used for. Today we're going to have it with a red sauce, but you want to, the first few minutes, because of the pasta coming in, it's not a full boil. We don't have to pay as much attention to it yet, but in probably about another minute, it's going to really need to be being stirred. So I'm going to go ahead and start the timer again. 11 minutes is our goal. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so the stopwatch is started. We'll keep an eye on that. And once again, about halfway through, 5, 6, 7 minutes in, I'm going to start the kettle for the next batch so we can move right into it. Okay, so yeah, still not quite to the point where it needs to be that stir. It's boiling pretty good. I was going to put the lid on, but I'm kind of worried if I put the lid on, it could kind of get away from me and I wouldn't realize in time that it's ready to be stirred. So until I start to see it kind of moving here, I'm going to give it a second, but we do have a good boil. Let me show you guys what we're working with here. So we have that good boil, but not quite at the point where it needs that constant stirring. Okay. Yeah, this pasta would be great for mac and cheese. You can get a nice good spoonful, get all the flavor, and same with the red sauce, but this would not work for chicken, vegetables, anything else you could possibly be eating with this. It just would not, you wouldn't be able to, eat your chicken with the spoon, and this is definitely kind of when you want to eat pasta by itself and just want to get a good flavorful sauce to smother it in. That's what you would probably be doing with this pasta. And guys, once again, this is the Elbows pasta. So if you guys are looking for this kind of pasta, want to do mac and cheese, Elbows pasta. All of these pastas were picked up at CVS, $1 per box on sale, 3 for $3. And I kind of take it based on seeing in other stores that that's kind of the going price, $1 to $1.50, regardless of brand, sale. There's always going to be some good deals on pasta. You can even get the spaghetti strings in the pack, very affordable as well. Very good option. So that's something else. If you don't want a specific, individual pasta, you can do spaghetti, which goes great with a meat sauce. We'll probably do a video on that down the road. We're going to do a good spaghetti and meat sauce, and possibly some chicken with it, or some beef. Let's see how we're doing. We're at about, coming up on 3 minutes, so we're about 25% through this batch. And so it is starting, it's at a consistent boil now. Now this one's not overflowing as much. I didn't put as much water. I did dial the water down a little bit. And also just this lighter, kind of thinner pasta seems to boil better. So I'm probably going to just let it sit here by itself for a few minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and crank up that vent fan just for a second, just to get some of that heat out. Still at a good boil, still just stirring. Okay, we're at 4.5 minutes. So I'm going to give it a second until I start to see it really boiling up. I'm going to kind of let it just cook by itself for a second. It's at the point of just boiling. It's not steaming over. So let's just give it a second. At this point, I'm trying to see, I'm not touching it because it's hot, but I'm just trying to get an idea of how soft it's starting to look. It definitely is getting softer at this point. But of the two pastas so far, this is the easier one to cook. It's not near steaming over, but I think a large part of that is I did put in less water. We just had too much water last time. It didn't need that much to cook, so this is going to be a lot better as far as being able to manage the pot and the anything boiling over. Okay, we're at 7 minutes, so we're a good portion into it. Let me give you guys another angle. And this is starting to really boil really well, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and change the angle for you guys. Get up over here. The next place we're going to be going is to the sink to finish. So Right now it is getting to the point where if it's not being stirred, it is going to boil over. So you are going to have to, towards the end, give it constant attention. So we're coming up on 9 minutes. Yeah, it's really starting to foam up. Okay, so we're at 10.5 minutes. So at any point now, because I did start the timer later, we're basically at the 11-minute mark. So let me go ahead and turn this heat down so we won't boil over. Remember, both gloves. Looks like it turned out pretty good. Oh, man. Fogged up my glasses. Okay. So I forgot to start the kettle. I'm starting that now. And then we're going to add whatever excess water we need. And this turned out pretty good. I think this made even more pasta than the last batch. So it seems like for the same amount of money, I think you're getting more here, even though the servings are the same. It just seems that this could be more filling. So we'll test it out. Let's see, last time we got about 2 bowls worth. Let's see what we got this time. Okay, so that is a full bowl of pasta, still steamy, nice and hot. And we have still at least enough for probably another half bowl. So it may be about the same. I hadn't filled the other bowl up as much as this one, but it is good. So let me fill up another bowl. Let's see what we actually get here. Okay, so get another bowl. So probably about a bowl and a half is what we're looking at. And so, I mean, you can't beat that. 2 huge bowls of pasta for $1. I mean, the sauce probably was $4. That sauce could last you 5 or 6 times easily. So you're talking about a $2 meal here. Very filling. Probably $2, 2 or 3 meals for the $2 because you're going to save some. This would be quite a meal to eat unless you're going to go do a big workout or something. So burn a lot of carbohydrates, like a long bike ride or something. So that is definitely an option, and I don't think you're going to get a cheaper meal than this. And it's pretty good. It's not like you're having to not eat good food. So let's go ahead and get working on the third one. So I'm going to see you guys in the next one for the third pasta. Excuse me. It's going to be our last pasta for the day. So see you guys in a second. We'll start up with that one. I'm just going to let the kettle boil and then we'll start boiling that water. Thank you. Okay guys, part 3. We're doing our final pasta. So I think you guys are going to like this one. So we're doing this one. So I've got the water just finishing boiling, and then I'm going to fill any excess water needed into the bowl. We're going to get that going. Okay, so let me get a little bit of water going in there. I just want it to start boiling. It's mostly going to be water from the kettle, but this way at least it's starting to boil, so save some time. Okay. Let's see. So once again, this is the brand. It's the type. So I got the kettle water, and I'm going to use that to help speed up the boiling process. Okay, so most of this water should be already pretty hot. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to do the lid again to help speed up the process. And then let's take a look at this pasta. So, this is the third pasta. We've already done the elbow. We've done that. We've also done the penne. So these two are done. Okay. So, our final pasta, the Rotini. So, it's like the little corkscrews. It's about the same size, actually, as the elbow pasta. It's not a big pasta. So, the best pasta if you're doing chicken or something is definitely going to be penne. It's easier to use a fork with if you're doing chicken as well. This is probably going to end up being very similar to the elbow pasta. You wouldn't do it with mac and cheese necessarily, but you're going to want just to get the sauce all around here, and it's going to be more for that kind of pasta, more with a spoon. So we're going to let it continue to boil, and let's see where we're at as far as that goes. So once again, just getting my timer ready. And then we're going to need to do some more stirring. Definitely speeds up the process, but I don't know why, even when you use the kettle, it's never like an instant boil. It's still having to wait some time for the water to get to a true boiling point. So don't forget, guys, if you do try any of these, please go ahead and leave us a comment, a like down below. Let us know they actually ended up using one of these. Let us know what style you ended up doing, and if you use this brand or you found a different brand that's good. Would love to learn what you guys thought of some of the other brands out there. So also, if you're enjoying the videos, if this is the type of content you like, we're going to have a lot more cooking videos, different, nothing complex. We're not going to be doing very complex recipes. Typically those have a lot of ingredients, and they get expensive. This is the college chef. So we're looking to do definitely some, cheaper options. Probably have a video soon on just different ways to pair top ramen to get good flavor out of it, things like that. So go ahead and give us a subscribe, help support the channel if that's the type of stuff you like, because we're going to want to see you on future videos. But I may have spoke too soon, because this seems to be boiling pretty good. It's I think it actually may have really helped speed it up. So let's see. Still a little too early to be putting the pasta in. Cool it off a little bit last time. Let's see. Let's take a look, see how we're doing. Yeah, it's starting to boil pretty quick. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put in all the pasta now. Let's take a look. Remember, we're pouring it nice and slow because we don't want it to splash. Okay. So since I did put it on a little early, I am going to use the lid just for a minute to help speed up that boiling process, but not all the way because I want to keep an eye on it. So I'm going to have it like that. That way it doesn't build up too much steam and really boil over by surprise. Once again, this is the type of pasta we're doing. And we keep the box because instructions. This time we happen to have done, you know, 3 back to back, but sometimes you wouldn't have cooked this in a while. So you're going to want to keep an idea of your time. I'll give you an example. I just looked at this. The other 2 had been 11 minutes cook time. Okay, so yeah, they have both been longer. So this one actually has a 7 minutes cook time. That was me just assuming going off the first 2. So we have a shorter cook time on this one. So it's a smaller pasta. I guess it's going to be cooking quicker. So we're at 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start that timer right now because we want to keep track. We don't want to go too far over. Okay, so I've just started the timer and we're going to be keeping an eye on that for 7 minutes. This is getting a little bit warm. I don't want it to boil over. I can hear it's already starting to. And look at that, it did boil over. With the lid being on, guys, it can go quick. You got to keep an eye on it. So after, you know, I'm going to have a little more cleanup now than usual, but nothing too bad. It's just a little bit of water. And so one of the things, and we have a good amount of water. I put a little bit more water in this time than that last time. So sometimes what I'll do in that situation is if I don't want to have to keep that close of an eye on it, it's not going to help it cook much better. It's just going to cause things to boil over. So let's let a little bit of the water out, make it easier. So I just poured out some of the water, put it right back on the heat, boiling again. And I'm going to be stirring this for a second. We have 7 minutes, and let's go ahead and get a little vent fan to get rid of that heat. And there's no trick in the stirring. There's no you have to do a certain way. I personally like to stir, and then I like to bring some of the pasta up just to look at it, kind of see how it's doing, if it's getting softer. Just gives me kind of a gauge on, you know, how it's progressing. So we're at about 2 minutes, and it's going to be harder for it to boil over now because I took out that water, so I don't have to watch it as close. I can just let it cook in there. So I'm going to keep stirring it. So one thing to think about is you want to be thinking ahead. I just looked in my dishwasher. It hadn't been run through. I know that I'm going to be creating a lot of dishes from, you know, cooking this much. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start my dishwasher so I won't have near as much time to wait when I'm ready to do my cleanup. And we are at just over 3 minutes. So this one goes a lot quicker. I mean, it's only 4 minutes quicker, but if you are in a hurry, this could be a good option if you want a pasta that cooks a little quicker than the other one. Especially if you're doing large quantities, cooking for large groups. 10 batches, 4 minutes, it adds up. Could save you almost 40 minutes. Looking really good. It's coming out really nice. and I'm going to let that keep boiling for a second. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and run some water because I might just manually do these dishes. So kind of be multitasking, guys. I have a side of my sink that's not being used. I'm still cooking. Doesn't take all my focus. So I'm starting to get a sink of water ready for right after I go straight into my dishes after I'm done eating. I don't want any of the food to cake on there. It is coming out really good, guys. Not quite soft yet, but we're getting there. And we're at 5 minutes. 5 minutes on the timer, so let's see. We keep stirring this, gonna make sure it's got a good temperature over here on my sink. Okay, we're at about 6 minutes and it is starting to get a little softer. It's looking really good right now. And you notice I didn't use the lid. You know, once you start to get into the stirring process, you can't have that lid on there. It's going to be too hard taking it on and off with the heat. So you just want to leave it open, let it breathe. Let me give you guys a little view here of what we're working with. So that is our pasta coming along very nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and switch angles for you guys because our next step is going to be cooking it. So take a look. That's the brand. That's what we're working with. Okay. Okay, so it's still looking really good. I'm going to turn off the heat. We are at 7.5 minutes, 7.5 minutes. So I'm going to take both gloves. Bring it over and let's see how much pasta we get. Just going to go ahead and clean it up. I don't want anything to be sticking in there. I have one piece sticking. Okay, so we yielded a good amount of pasta here. Let's see, it's still steaming. I don't know if you can see that. Still steaming nice and hot. And one option too, guys, is if you are doing a large batch and you're not going to be using this, you know, in a couple days, and this is for everyone, you know, who's having a dinner, I would just be pouring my sauce on here over my sink so it gets messy, but I would really just be shaking it up in here. You're going to get a real nice consistency with that sauce throughout the pasta. It's going to be real nice. So, let's see how much pasta we yielding. Okay, first bowl. Same time I'm doing this, I'm keeping an eye on my sink, making sure that it's getting filled up for my dishes. This is a nice pasta, guys. So I'm getting to where I was with the other ones, a nice full bowl. So far, this has probably yielded the least. To be honest, it's probably just one bowl and a couple more scoops. So I'm gonna have to point that out, guys. So this one yielded probably the least. It's a great meal for yourself, 2 people. But if you're doing a large group, you're gonna get more for the same price. You're gonna get more meals out of the elbow. And I think you're going to get a better experience out of this one because you can have the chicken and other things with it. So that's going to be my thoughts on the 3 different pastas. And that ain't good. They're all good. None of them are bad. I mean, all these are great meals, but just if we're comparing the size of the box and how much pasta we got out, there is no doubt that the better deal was here in the elbow for the same price. And that's just something to keep in mind. As you're looking at, you know, what you're going to be getting, what your meal is going to be. So we're going to have one last section. It's going to be the cleanup. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of this, what's going on right now. Going to try a little bit, of course, have a great meal. And then I'll join you guys for the cleanup, how it kind of would go through and prep and clean it. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for the final section. So this is the cleanup section. So first thing I'm doing, I'm kind of checking my counters to see if there are any big water spots I don't want. I don't have my electronics or anything around. So at this point, we're going to be taking things. The bowl's still pretty hot, but things like the gloves, done with the gloves. So wherever your gloves go ahead and put those away. I personally have a drawer for them. And I also have this mat that I was using. It's a heat mat in case I had to set anything down. I'm going to go ahead and put that away because I'm done with that. Next thing is ingredients, things that I'm no longer using. By the way, all those pastas were fantastic. Had to put them away. Had to put them in storage because they're so good. You're just going to keep eating them. That's part of the problem. So the sauce, I believe this one's going to have to be refrigerated. Yeah, refrigerate after opening. First time I was opening it was then, so I'm going to go and throw this in the refrigerator. Same with the Kraft Parmesan cheese because we're done with those. Okay, next I'm going to be doing some dishes, so I'm going to kind of set up probably a towel so I have somewhere for my wet dishes to go. Since the dishwasher is still running, I'm going to go ahead and manually wash these. So what I would do is I typically will have 2 towels, and I'll start here with this. So give them a good rinse down. And they weren't used for much, it was just for stirring, so not going to be a lot to clean on there. Had some spoons for when I was putting the sauce in the bowls. And in this case, I'm going to use a little paper towel because that other towel is leaving a few of the fibers. So I have to check on that. Why seems to be some of the red coming off the towel. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch to the paper towels for these. Okay. Got my other bowl. Same thing, a wash and a dry. Three bowls, three pastas, so we have 3 bowls. We're going to clean this one. Give it a nice dry. And the strainer's kind of tough. That one, it's more a matter of cleaning it and then kind of letting it dry. It's kind of hard to dry the straining material. It tends to rip any of the napkins. But I do like to get into the sinks that I was in, clean those, make sure they're nice and good. And that is it, guys. That is how we clean up. So we have a nice clean kitchen once I'm done putting it all away. We had 3 great options. Remember those 3 different kinds of pastas. I hope that helped you guys to see how quick, easy, and cheap those meals can be. With the right sauce, it's fantastic flavor. A little Parmesan cheese really helps to complete it. So I do hope you guys will go ahead and give those a try, and that this will really help you guys with finding some great meal options. So if you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to give us that like, a couple comments on what kind of things you guys have enjoyed cooking in the past. And also, if you're enjoying the content, please make sure to subscribe. We want to see you on all of our future videos. That's the best way to get notified when we're making them. Thanks so much, guys. See you later. Bye.